There we go. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Anila. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Please forgive me. I dropped my pen, and I like to take notes. Oh no, we're gonna go noteless on this one today,
Oh, no.
but that is okay. I don't know what happened. This
Different is not
really.
dangerous.
Well, we got a lot of folks here, so why don't we get started? Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are here with Karen Pickett of Body Focus Process Addictions. I am Anila Adnani, co-founder of Habit Aware, a company that's created a smart bracelet to help people with hair pulling, skin picking, nail biting, build awareness of the physical behavior so that you can then turn inward to that mind-body connection awareness and learn to meet your needs in healthier ways. I'm also the founder of BFRB Changemakers, which is a nonprofit that I started in 2023 to further support the community, center lived experience, and make sure that treatment professionals can meet us with the correct treatment strategies that are going to actually help us by doing continuing education training. And now today we are here with Karen Pickett, who is one of those treatment professionals that has been treating BFRBs since my journey of starting in this community of helping people. So even obviously before that, so Habitware has been around for about 8 to 10 years now. And I still remember meeting Karen at a Detroit meetup a few years ago, very early on in our work. And it was just amazing to see you then, and I'm glad to reconnect. I mean, we talk every now and again anyways, but glad to reconnect live. Tell us a little bit about you, your journey with BFRBs, what got you into treating them.
Thanks so much, Anila, for having me, for doing this for our community. So I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I am also a recovered skin picker. And so I have lived experience, which I think definitely has informed my ability to work with others. And I've been working with people with body focused repetitive behaviors, BFRBs, for over 20 years, and actually held the very first in-person support group for people with skin picking and hair pulling when I was at the OCD Center of Los Angeles. So that's been around a long time. And it's been quite a journey. So my reason for getting involved with the BFRB community was that I had a BFRB, and that by helping others, I also helped myself. And I did get to what
I think I've lost connection. I don't know if I'm lost or if Karen got lost. Please let me know in the comments. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Hello? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Did I lose you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please let me know. Yes, you can hear me. Okay. Can you see me? Can you see Karen? Please let us know in the comments. I don't know. It's just frozen. I'm seeing people come in, so I think I do have connection. Hello, Isabel. Hello, C. Wilson, Arlene, and 7 others. Sorry, can't say hello to you because Instagram won't tell me who you are. Only me. Okay. All right. We lost the visual of the other person. All right. Well, hopefully Karen will join back. I'm not sure what happened. So as I was saying, while we kind of try and wait, maybe I'll keep my email open. Well, my son wants to say hi. Nope, he's running off. I'll keep my email open just to see if Karen wants to try to contact me that way. But why are we here? It's BFRB Awareness Week, and we're here raising awareness, right? Last weekend, we Habit Aware held the Great BFRB Get Together, a 2-day virtual and semi-in-person conference where we connected people in the community with these conditions to treatment professionals, people with lived experience, and advocates. And I have my director telling me to move the mic down out of the screen. Thank you. Um, and so this past weekend was all about internal healing, so that they can hear me better. It doesn't make sense. We'll have to talk. I'll show you later. So this past weekend was all about internal healing, and this week, Awareness Week, is all about external awareness, so that treatment professionals, pediatricians, even your family and friends will find information about these conditions. Hopefully you'll go to the Habit Aware Instagram page and share to your page some of our BFRB 101 posts so that people in your community can learn about these conditions. And why is that important? Well, just as our own awareness of this condition and what it's doing for us is important to our behavior change and to our recovery, it's also important for the people around us to better understand these conditions so they can treat us nicer, so that they can meet us with compassion, so that treatment professionals have the right tools at their fingertips to help you implement the right strategies so that you can take control. So it's all about love. It's all about compassion. It's all about, you can't change what you don't know is happening. So that person who is being judgmental and saying, ew, that's gross, that's all they know. Once they know the truth, it opens the door to allowing them to say, oh, whoa, I'm sorry I was so hard on you. How can I help you? Right? And so that's why we're here. I am logging in to see if Karen is able to connect with me. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try to body focus process addictions. Let me invite them and see if that works. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Karen, we're back.
We're back.
I don't know what
Technology,
happened.
gotta love it.
Gotta love it, gotta love it. All right.
Well, you've been saying I've been able to hear what you've been saying as I've been keep trying to rejoin here. And it's great. It's wonderful, what you did last weekend, and sounds really great. Sorry I wasn't able to join. Awesome.
Yeah, it
And
was cool, and there's definitely more to come. But yeah, let's focus
yeah.
back. Karen, tell us, as you just said, you're like many people in the BFRB community, turning that skin picking pain into purpose, going into treating folks. Tell us how did you decide on, well, not so much how did you decide, but how did you kind of like get to this point of this acronym of BFPA, and tell us what that means.
BFPA stands for Body Focused Process Addiction, and my colleague Shelley DeFari and I coined this term because we both have been treating BFRBs and been in the community for a very long time. And we noticed that there were aspects of an addictive type of nature that some people experience that we wanted to address. So body focused process addictions is recognizing that some people with BFRBs experience their behavior as a process or behavioral addiction. So what does that mean? That means that all addictions involve the neurotransmitter dopamine. And that means that dopamine plays a role for those of us who relate to the body focused process addiction terminology. And not everybody does, and that's okay. But for those who do, it seems to unlock a door that leads to greater options for treatment. And that's exactly why Shelley and I formed the BFPA Resource Center. It's a free community, and we're just getting started and looking forward to adding new members and providing resources for the community. So BFPA equals BFRB plus addiction science. So we recognize BFRBs, we talk about BFRBs, and we add the addiction science piece, which again addresses the ways in which dopamine and the reward system works in our behaviors, in our brains, in our neurotransmitters, and also addresses, which is starting to be addressed by more people in our community, the very important aspect of shame and shame resilience. So we know that people with addictions often feel a lot of shame about what they're doing, and yet also find it very difficult to stop. And that leads to this conundrum of feeling like a freak, that something's wrong with us, what's wrong with me that I can't stop this, even though I kind of like it, but I also kind of want to stop. And that is true of every addiction. Most addicts will say, yeah, I started doing this because I got this great reward, and now I just feel like I just can't get away from it. It's not a question of someone's willpower or character. It's very much for those who identify with the addiction model of BFRBs, body focused process addictions, that your neurotransmitters and your neural pathways have been conditioned to keep you engaged in the behavior, even if you no longer feel a reward, even if you really want to stop. So our treatment model addresses ways in which we can help you do that.
Okay. So just to kind of uh, re-say what you just said to make sure I'm getting it. So BFRBs, so just for those of you who may not know that acronym, but might know the word hair pulling, which is trichotillomania, skin picking, which is dermatillomania, nail biting, cheek biting, lip picking. I mean, the list goes on and on. Nose picking, thumb sucking. Um, BFRBs are all those things. BFRB is that umbrella term, and that stands for body focused repetitive behaviors. So just about an hour ago, we chatted with Dr. Mike Twohig about new integrative therapies for BFRBs, rooted in awareness of the physical behavior and then awareness of the mental thoughts and the emotional feelings that are sort of triggering the behavior, right? And so with BFPA, body focused process addictions, so now we have hair pulling, skin picking, nail biting down here. Then the umbrella of that is BFRBs. Then let's say sitting next to that is alcohol, smoking, substance use. And then you umbrella all of that into body focused process addictions. Is that fair to say, Karen? Does that feel like a right sort of visualization of where they all sit?
Perhaps. I think don't have a complete. I think right now that we see that maybe body focused process addictions and BFRBs are um, different lanes of the same highway.
Okay. All right. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Some people really relate to the addiction um, aspect or addiction model of these behaviors of hair pulling, skin picking, nail biting, all of the things that you mentioned, Anila, that we typically have referred to BFR, body focused repetitive behaviors or BFRBs in the past. And so some people may not experience that addictive quality of their behavior. But a lot of people we've talked to do. So we take the everything you were talking with Dr. Tuig, I think, right? We say, okay, yes, we need to look at the triggers. We need to look at the physical, mental, emotional aspects. We need to address those. Absolutely, because identifying triggers and circumstances in environments and emotional states that are associated with the behavior are also important when you're working with a body focused process addiction. But in addition to all of that, again, we add the piece that says for many people, there is also this, dopamine plays a big role in starting and in continuing to engage in these behaviors well past the point where most people want to stop.
Okay. And so, how does adding that sort of acknowledgement of the dopamine effect impact the treatment and that addiction treatment model that you're talking about? Where's the what are the changes then to sort of what I just sort of described with Dr. Tuig's work versus, or, in addition to
Hmm.
this approach?
Hmm. Well, we find that what we're offering is broadening the tools, treatment modalities available for people to find what fits for them and use. In other words, we're adding to what's already out there. That's how we feel about it. We're adding another way that we can help people recover because we've identified the addiction process, which is it has to do with pain and pleasure, reward, um, extinction, dependence, all of the things that we deal with addictions. And so being able to incorporate that into the treatment and to help people who relate to body focused process addictions see that there is a way out for them too. Because if someone has tried everything out there that's available, the CBT, the comb model, all the things that we also endorse, but we're adding to, okay, if all these things haven't helped you, here's another way of addressing your condition, your suffering, that
Yeah.
maybe this
I
is
think I
going to be
lost
the
you again
one
right
that,
at the good part. All right, we got you back.
oh, so we say, well, maybe this is something that will, is going to help somebody. And that's where we're coming from. We're saying, yeah, maybe, habit aware is a big piece of your recovery, and everybody is unique. I like to say that we all have a fingerprint. All of
Yep.
us as humans, we all have a fingerprint, but each of our fingerprints is unique.
Yep.
And just so with everybody who suffers from these conditions, we all have similarities and yet we're all unique. And so what we want to do is add to the menu of tools and strategies that someone can choose from and experiment with to say, oh, this is going to help me in my recovery experience. We're not saying that our way is the only way.
Yeah.
We're saying
Oh,
we're
totally.
adding to the possibilities of tools and strategies for recovery.
Exactly. And that add on, right? 100%. That's like, just in talking with so many people in the community, there's so many different whys behind the condition that, yeah, you need to have these different approaches to meet that
Yeah.
in the right way. So as you're talking about sort of this add-on of addiction approaches, we're acknowledging, addiction is rooted in chemical, I don't want to say imbalances, but chemical differences in the brain, right? The dopamine hit effect. Um, can you give an example of acknowledging, like, how does acknowledging the dopamine effect in a BFRB scenario impact treatment? Like, can you give a real world practical example of of how this BFPA process addiction um, method works in the real world?
Sure. Great question. So I had a client come to me, and this person had been dealing with trichotillomania, hair pulling, for a very long time. And she actually had been a member of my support groups and had done individual treatment with me. And this was, more in the past. And she did attain a certain level of recovery. However, she also presented with some other issues around alcohol. Again, not alcoholism, but she noticed that once she started drinking, she couldn't stop. If she just didn't start drinking, it was fine. And didn't drink every day, none of that. It was just once she started, she found it hard to stop. Sound familiar? Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep.
So that really like lit the light bulb for Shelley and I to say, you know what? I think these kinds of things are related. And so we started with this person. I started with this person looking at this through an addiction lens and seeing that, the dopamine hit is very, very powerful. And unless you recognize that it's there, you can't do anything about it, right? And so this person was like, yeah, I feel like I'm addicted. I feel like I'm addicted to pulling. And so here, help me out. And so we started looking at her triggers, her rewards. And I think that the reward part of it is very, very important, because the initial, and this is true of all addictions, initially, let's say, let's just say drinking, because a lot of people can relate to that. Initially, oh, it feels good, I'm buzzed, like I'm really happy when I'm drinking, and it feels so good. Well, 3 years down the line, you've got these health effects, you can't stop drinking, you no longer feel that same sort of high, that buzz, that joy, that dopamine, hit from using alcohol. Well, same with the hair pulling. She found that she didn't really feel a reward anymore, but yet she couldn't stop. And that is an aspect of addiction that is called dependence. And it's about the dopamine receptors basically getting worn out, but the behavior hasn't changed. But the dopamine has really cemented those behaviors in the neural pathways. So now we want to go back and say, okay, maybe nothing is ever going to feel exactly the same as your original reward for hair pulling, but how can we identify rewards of not pulling that are going to be motivating to you? And it's a process, just like recovery it's a process. And so we help that individual be able to do that and develop other habit chains that provided a dopamine hit, not exactly like the hair pulling did, but close enough that it was satisfying. And then, of course, we also addressed her shame around the fact that she always felt belittled, betrayed, and like there was something inherently wrong with her because she did this weird thing that nobody knew what it was for a very long time, and that, why couldn't she just stop? So, I'm talking kind of faster because I know we don't have a lot of time. So I hope this is making sense in terms of like sort of condensing the answer to your question.
Yep. Yeah, totally makes sense. My question to you is, and this might just be like me not, well versed in addiction treatment, but in my mind, in my understanding of addiction treatment, it's always, and again, like this is like from the media and from whatever little bit I've gleaned, it always has felt like smoking cessation, alcohol, substance use, those sort of addictions have always been an all or nothing, right? Like you have to fully quit. And in our community of BFRBs, we sort of personally and also within the community don't advocate for that because of that understanding of that it's a chronic health condition and it's more about reduction of behavior, making it small in your life is the unscientific way of how we say it, right? That big heavy backpack is now just a little quarter in your pocket kind of thing. So how do you kind of like balance that in terms of like where do you sit kind of with that when it comes to body focused repetitive behaviors and this addiction treatment model?
Yeah, great question. And I think it's very, very important to recognize that process addictions or behavioral addictions go beyond what you've mentioned, Anila. Almost everybody today has a process addiction because they're addicted to their phone, they're addicted to social media, they're doom scrolling, they are compulsive shopping, they are compulsive eating. So it's not about drugs and alcohol, it is about behaviors. And for most people, it is about we can't not eat. We can't not use our phone, right? We can't not use technology, but how can we do that in a healthy way? So we're really also talking about the same thing. When you talk about drugs and alcohol, yes, abstinence is absolutely, required, right? For people with that, structure, physiological structure if they can't engage at all, and they don't need to in order to survive.
Right.
But we have to do grooming behaviors. We have to touch our skin. We have to touch our hair. We have to, get in front of the mirror and brush our teeth. So it's not something we can get away from. And that's one of the reasons that Shelley and I developed body focused process addictions, because we always have our body. We can't get away from it. hey, how the heck hard is it to stop doing something to your body when you've always got your body with you?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just invite everybody to have a broader definition of addiction. And even in
I
the
appreciate that.
DSM, they're starting to recognize that in the larger psychological and psychiatric and medical professions, in our profession, we're starting to recognize that behavioral or process addictions are an area for further study. And I think eventually that this way of looking at these behaviors will eventually be recognized as, yeah, this is an important piece for some people, for many people actually, but at least for some people.
Okay, I'm really glad I asked that question because it really does clear up a lot in my head, right? Of like, I
Yay!
was kind of sort of focusing more on the process addiction part of the word, and now just highlighting it again for me, body focus. So even when I was saying, hair pulling and nail biting down here, and then BFRBs is down here, and then no, like smoking and drinking, like they're not body focused, right? They're externally focused process addictions. So now it really makes a lot more sense to me, um, what you're saying in terms of that addictive piece, like, and as it
Yeah.
relates to body focused behaviors. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an addiction to a
Right,
substance. It's not
right, right.
nicotine, alcohol, or drugs. It is an addiction to the process or
Yeah.
the behavior.
Yep.
That is what the addiction is.
You bringing up, social media or shopping or kind of like these other sort of newer, with the advent of technology, newer addictions, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
so much more than just what's kind of been ingrained in our brains from mainstream media, which is ever changing. Oops, sorry. Just want to say hello to Marina and Ali and anyone else that's joined. This was really, really insightful. I really, really appreciate your time. I know we're just a little bit over, but are there any last kind of takeaways or something you'd like folks to yeah, step away with this, and also tell us how can they find you?
Thank you so much. Yeah. So, bodyfocusedprocessaddictions.com. You can go to our website and there's a drop down menu where you can join our free community. It is a vetted community. You answer a couple of quick questions about what's bringing you to the community, but we review every application to join, which is just the answers to those little questions. And so our goal is to create a very safe environment. It's not social media, not anybody can see it. It's never going to be repeated out there or, so we're creating this very safe environment. Bodyfocusedprocessaddictions.com, all one word. And if you want to learn more about process addictions and all addictions, I just read an excellent book called Dopamine Nation, which is about 4 or 5 years old, explains the addiction process really well in really understandable and story-like ways. And so much of it, I saw things like she was talking about, she described it in different terms, the author, but I saw habit reversal training in her approach to treating addiction. So Dopamine Nation, read it, see if you identify with it, and come on over and join us at bodyfocusedprocessaddictions.com and the BFPA Resource Center.
Awesome, awesome. So give a follow to Body Focus Process Addictions Instagram, and you'll find the resources on that page. Karen, thank you so much for taking time with me this evening to chat. I really appreciate it, all that you do for the community, and um,
Likewise, in
yeah,
spades, Anila. Thank
it's an
you.
honor to be with you on this journey, and thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I'll see you on the emails.
See you soon.
All right, take care,
All
everyone.
right.
Have a good
Yeah,
night.
thank you. Bye.
Thanks for being here. Bye.